Okay, alright. Add it up.
Welcome back. So we're here with John and Musa, and trying to learn something. I'm learning a lot, actually learning a lot that is just not a ball. And so in this segment, I wanted to, be a little bit, challenging. I don't know what to say, but can a ball actually determine or decide an outcome of a game? Say, for example, if you chose the wrong equipment in this case, could you really determine the outcome of a game? And that's just an open question, but we'll be specific on the Kenya versus Comoros game.
Our days of playing and how a ball could impact the outcome of a game.
Mhm.
For example, when we travel to places like Mumias, they would pump the ball beyond the required limit, and the ball would be so hard that it would be hurting our feet or even the head. And they were used to it because they train with it every day. But for us, it was so painful, we didn't even want to touch that ball. And of course, it was so hard to play against these guys because of how the ball was. So the ball can determine how. And sometimes when the ball is underinflated, you can tell that you can't you can't get it, shoot the ball the way you want to shoot it, or pass it and get it to where it needs to get to. You have to apply more pressure. It's just uncomfortable. So when we looked at the Comoros Kenya game, that free kick, it seemed like a very genius free kick. But based on my opinion, that guy used a technique that I thought was amazing. But then, of course, maybe the ball was lighter than it should have been. Maybe it was a little bit underinflated. That could have changed the flight of the ball media depending on the wind. So there's a lot of factors that could have played. Because at first I thought that ball was deflected. Looked at the replay, that ball never touched anybody. But it changed midway through the flight. It changed course and went the other way. I left the keeper outed on the ground there. So maybe that ball was underinflated, but there's a range. There's a range. I didn't get to see the ball, but when you look at the every ball comes with an instruction on how much air needs to be in it. So I know Komborrah takes about 6 to 8 pounds of air, PSI. So the referees are always supposed to gauge. They're supposed to have a gauge to check if the ball is well inflated. If not, then they set it aside.
Okay. So it could have been it could have had less air into it, so maybe deflated.
Yeah.
But that should be affecting everyone, right? That should be affecting. And I think during the game there was also another shot that was on the Kenyan side that also kind of seemed to ricochet or move around. It wasn't like going straight, and that got me thinking: is the ball really affecting some of the outcome? Can you talk about when the South African World Cup, the Jabulani ball? What was the story behind it?
I remember the Jabulani ball really well. It looked very colorful when it saw it looked like a very good ball, but all the top players, the Messi's and whoever, Ronaldo, they complained about the ball. They said it was moving weirdly when they hit free kicks and all that. That's why there was less free kicks scored in that World Cup. But they said the Jabulani, the way it was made, wasn't in the best standards they expected. But on another note, you look at it like maybe it wasn't built for the kind of atmosphere they are used to. Maybe it was built for, depends on where you are. But if they had, I believe a Jabulani came from Adidas, so there has to be a FIFA requirement that they had to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the ball or was it the atmosphere where they were? You
Mm-hmm.
never know.
Okay.
Because, but I know for sure the ball, the design of it can't change the performance of the ball. That's why uh, game balls are made in such a way that it doesn't matter on what weather, whether it's rainy, muddy, or the conditions, the ball performance should be the same,
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't change. Now, practice ball can change based on where you are.
Okay.
For most people in Kenya who use leather balls, they
Mm-hmm.
know very well that every time it rains, the ball gets heavier. It becomes from, instead of being the regular size,
Mm-hmm.
expands, becomes two sizes bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and the weight, it becomes heavier.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why FIFA has changed to, or ball standards have changed from leather materials to the materials we use now.
Okay. Thank you. So I wonder if Musa is back, because I wanted him to take on that question because he's on the ground
Yeah.
and probably could have spoken to some of the players, and also observing. I think it was Ayub Timbe. Ayub Timbe was playing on the fullback.
Left. Was it
Left, yeah,
both left wing? I
yeah.
think it was left midfield or left wing.
Yeah, I've seen him bring crosses, like crosses that are not rainbow crosses. But this game, the ball seemed to be flying so high fast before it lands. And in thinking about your work, I was like, could it be that the ball is really even affecting how you take a cross, that maybe you're putting too much power and the ball is not designed for that, or you should be hitting it from a very different place. So it could be that but I just thought could have affected. And Musa, you are back. Are you back?
Thank you. I think I just need to talk before it goes away again. My apologies. I
No.
think one of the things, yeah, Maurice, I think what I can say about the yesterday's match, the one which the national team played, I think first of all the technique was very good, because when I inquired to the goalkeeper trainer and asked him what was the difference, compare that ball to the other balls, he just told me that the balls are okay, but the technique of the guy who took the free kick was super. And I think that is something which, again, the balls are made to make goalkeepers' life a nightmare. And I think that is one of the balls which I think when you get it maybe 5 days prior to the match, it's always a challenge. But I think that is, you talked about the Komborrah again, the Jabulani. I think Jabulani was made to make goalkeepers having nightmares, because players have been going to the matches and they're not scoring. And Adidas came up with an opportunity of what can we do at least for teams to score goals, and I think the balls are made to give keepers a bit of a problem.
Mhm. Wow. Okay, that's quite interesting. I mean, there were many instances I observed the game, and I was like, something is really not working. So it brings to the point that as a team or somebody who's running a team and the management, I think having this knowledge seems to be crucial. Because, for example, if you're just if you are used to practice games, or you're used to you're used to playing with the game balls, then you're utilizing the game balls as fast as possible, and soon you will not have any game balls, probably practice balls. I wonder if what you could say to a management of a team, whatever team there is, with respect to a product like a football.
I think one of the things which I'll maybe try to give that input, because you remember what Parisia is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in a sense that there is training balls and there is match balls. So wherever there is a match, what are we using for us to go and play a match? And if it is about training, what are we using to go and use for training? Because I think that is one of the challenges which has been happening, in a sense that we don't know which balls are we supposed to use for training and which one is for the match.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, because I would imagine that the guy who has the check to buy the equipment is told to buy balls, but it's not given an idea of what type of balls for what purposes. So maybe this is something of importance to the managers of teams who are listening to this podcast, or this viewing our discussion here, that in essence there should be some thinking behind the ball, and looking at it just not just as a ball, but an equipment that has different purposes moving forward. So I don't know if you have anything else to say, John, before we wrap up.
Yeah, pretty much I would say you've hit the nail on the head. Like the managers or people charged with buying the equipments, they need to dig in a little bit, do some research, figure out exactly what they're buying, because that can be the difference between their team playing at this level and the team playing at a lower level. Because, like you say, practice makes perfect. You practice so you practice so hard with defective or substandard equipment, you become good at being substandard. But if they give them the proper equipment to practice with, proper atmosphere, they will become the best they can be. Now, talking about game balls, yes, they need to have a comfortable feeling of the ball. So it means a little bit before those days they get acclimated to the ball. Same way we used to go to a different country a few days ahead of time to get acclimated to the weather. It's the same way the foot needs to get used to that game ball, so that you don't see those rainbow crosses, because they need to adjust how they do things every day based on what they have that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know if Musa is back, but I think we're getting close to wrapping this up. And in listening, and I say today I'm going to be learning a lot. I feel like I have some takeaway things that I've learned. One thing I've learned here is that I didn't even think about it. The banning of plastic balls has just really reduced access to a ball. Because you think about kids in Mashinani, or when we were growing up, that's the ball. That was the ball. And, there was one guy who was great in knitting them up, and that I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
government has created scarcity by banning banning use of plastic in Kenya. Not
Wow.
only in Kenya, globally, but we know why we really need those plastic. We will find them everywhere. We will easy for us to come up with a ball based on that. But
That
now
was
there's scarcity now. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, that was our first ball. And as Musa, you're talking about it, in Mashinani, if I don't recall me buying a ball when I was a kid. There was just either one ball or some guy with a ball. So this is a serious problem.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one part too that we need to educate the masses when it comes to picking the right ball. We have to know what age group we are dealing with.
Okay.
If it's 8 years and under, we need to be using a size 3 ball. You can't expect an 8-year-old kid or a 7-year-old kid to use a size 5 ball. And in case of Kenyan soccer balls, a size 7 ball, which is supposed to be a size 5. So this ball is so huge on this kid's foot, and you expect this kid to be able to juggle this ball and master ball control, ball mastery, as we do know it. We studied at a very early age. So this kid has to have a ball that is small enough for him to be able to manipulate. Having a big ball that is bigger than his head, there's no way he's going to be able to, to manipulate this ball. So size 3 is 8 years and under. And then size 4 is from 8 to 12 years old. That's the perfect ball for them. And then from 12 years and above, that's when we go to size 5.
Smile. I like Musa. Musa is always smiling. He's
Very
never,
optimistic.
yeah,
Very optimistic.
yeah, Musa. I've never seen him angry for something. He's always smiling. I like the guy. Really, I enjoy him.
I've
So
seen him angry when we've lost a game.
I've not seen Musa angry. Actually, well, we lost one day in Mombasa when we were in high school, just one time. But I don't recall him being angry that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen him angry. He's maybe Captain Fantastic. But
Maybe.
in terms of wrapping up here, so couple of things I think that I've learned personally. I think Komborrah on one is really taking the product of a football and really using it in understanding. And I'm thinking about like a researcher, because I do research. So in thinking about how do you respond to a problem without really in the most effective way. And the other thing I've heard about is thinking about a ball from a cost effectiveness point of view. So are you going to buy 10 of them that are going to burst tomorrow? Are you going to buy, or are they going to be roughed up? Or are you going to buy one that can last you longer? The cost effectiveness part also comes into utilizing the right tool for the right job. Because if you take the tool for the game that you know it's only utilized for 90 minutes and given a rest, in practice or the other way around, chances are you're going to be affecting the cost of it down the road. The third thing I think is that I've learned is that a ball can actually affect an outcome of a game, big game, small game, whatever game. And I think being able to acclimatize sounds like to acclimatize as you do for your own health is equally important to really do. And I really want to thank you for educating us for that. I really admire you, actually. You're very brilliant guys. I really truly admire your tenacity, your thinking. It's not just, you're not just branding a piece of leather to
No.
you are actually thinking hard and making this more of an innovation. So you're actually bringing innovation in the equipment of, in soccer equipment, and would really want to thank you. And I don't know where Benti is, but wanted to wrap it up at this point, unless you have anything else, or if you have Musa back. Benti, do we have Musa back?
Yes, we do, and I think Ronaldo Court too is about to join us as well. So we might just take a few minutes. My producers backstage are welcoming him in, so just hold tight.
Okay.
We can take a commercial break while we are getting ready to get in the studio.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Otherwise, Oteshe, thanks so much for joining us. We'll come to wrap up while we welcome Aro. Let's get a commercial break here.
Komborrah ni boli poa. Komborrah tuliza boli manja mdogo. Komborrah ni boli poa. Komborrah tuliza boli manja mdogo.
All right, viewers, welcome back. We're about to be joined by Mr. Ronaldo Court, who has been a very influential guy in social media. So we're gonna welcome Mr. Otero, at least to introduce Ronald. Otero, are you there with us?
I'm there with you. First of all, I just want to take this opportunity to introduce somebody who I was his coach. He's somebody who has done a lot of things in Kenyan football. He's an ex-national team player, an ex-national team footballer with Mathare United. He's a CEO now at the moment with RO Sports Academy. He's an Equity Sports ambassador. I think he has done a lot. That is Ronald Okoth.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Coach Musa for the great introduction. Manze, kwa introduce na legend kama Musa hivo. It's over the moon. I might sleep with shoes tonight. I'll actually sleep with my shoes on tonight. So Coach Musa, Manze, I'm so grateful. I think you've been an inspiration to us from way back. Most of the things you're doing today is because you guys paved the way for us. I mean, your advice, I think, in the past have come to you for regular advice now and then, and you're one person I look up to. I think a lot of inspiration of what the most of the things I'm doing currently been inspired by you, and I'm so grateful to you manze Coach Musa. Mungu akuzidishie na uzidi bado pia kutufungulia njia na kila kitu na kwa mawazo na wisdom yako. So thank you so much for your wisdom and everything that you've done actually for the game, because without you guys again atungeweza and just like I said before, we look up to you for everything. I mean, inspiration and everything. So Coach Musa, we celebrate you big time, and thanks for always, being just part of the game and just showing us the way. And Komborrah, Farova, again, it's a pleasure being on the show once again. And Charles Muiruri, Benti, guys, I'm so humbled you guys have invited me into this prestigious show. And Baresi, again, a legend of the game. I'm just so humbled to be amidst you guys. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to the show. Yeah.
Karibu. Now, Moirosh, floor is yours.
Yeah. So, Aro, the way I've listened to you describing Musa and John is just like the stories I've seen with Allen Iverson describing Michael Jordan. Like, you were close to Michael Jordan, and oh my God, you're looking at his shoes. You can't believe he's there. So thank you for coming in. You represent a very interesting crop of footballer. Yeah. So you really represent a very different crop of footballers. And thanks for giving Musa the props, because without them doing it, you'd never have understood how would you actually become an ex-player who's doing something and something impactful. And so I've followed you. If Musa was your coach, I probably would have been your coach, because I'm as old. So I'm an old guy. I've followed your career somehow, followed what you do, and you represent a very interesting crop of footballers. You started thinking ahead of what you're going to do in retirement when you're still playing. So which is something that I find quite interesting. And it's something when I visited Musa in South Africa, sometime we hang out in Cape Town, he was thinking about retirement, but he was actually a player, but he was talking to me about what he's thinking to do. And so the three of you really represent a new crop of the way a footballer should be doing. But interesting for you, you're an e-commerce guy, you're a social media guy, which is, all of us, I'm supposed to be on social media, but I have a Twitter account, I have a Facebook account, but the last time I ever posted anything that has anything to do with me, I'm not trained like that. I'm not trained to go and brag and talk about myself. But you guys, your generation this is so normal. This is really normal. And so talk about how you think your ambassadorship is a Komborrah ambassador, and your knowledge in e-commerce, your knowledge in social media. How do you think Komborrah should be positioning itself in that front?
First of all, again, thank you for the kind words. So grateful for that. And on to your question, I think first of all, we must understand that Komborrah is a brand itself, and to me, it's high time. It should be pushed as a brand, because the potential is there. The balls are quality, the product is quality, and it just needs to penetrate the market. And for a product actually to sell, to position itself, there are various things that need to be done in terms of marketing, branding. The name should be pushed outside there. People should be engaged, the fans, people should know about the brand and all that. And I feel it's about time that Komborrah, should come into the market, should step into the market, because it's a product that has a lot of quality, has a lot of potential. From the few, from the balls that we've had around, actually, personally, I've received some very, commendable, some very encouraging comments. From guys who've used it. For example, I think last week, but one, I was just speaking to a grassroots team just around Jericho, and they were telling me actually that the first edition of Komborrah balls that they were given actually served them so well, and they really like the product, and they can't wait to actually receive the next batch, hopefully, if they'll get some, because they really love the ball. So I feel it's a product that really needs to be branded, really needs to be marketed, really needs to be pushed outside there. And I think as a brand ambassador role and in social media and everything, marketing goes a long way. We must push the brand on social media. Personally, I must represent the brand because, again, for you to represent a brand, you must package yourself properly. And I feel I'm in a good position whereby maybe I can try and maybe help push the name and hopefully make Komborrah a brand in Kenya. Yeah.
Great. Talks about packaging. Can you break down packaging for me? Not saying like you, but break down packaging for me. So how do you package something, a brand?
Well, you can package it in different ways, but again, just like you said before, in this day and age of social media, where actually the mainstream media is actually being pushed away from some of these opportunities, because we have social media in place. We have Zoom, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, Instagram, and all these are avenues that actually should be used in terms of promoting a brand. So in terms of packaging, I think Komborrah should be it's a brand that should be associated with the right guys. The right people who can promote it. It's a brand that I feel it should be pushed outside them in terms of even being maybe partnering with the shops or retail shops, maybe supermarkets, maybe sports shops, and all that. Just sharing with them the idea of we need a stand in your shop whereby we can put these products, and maybe at the end of the month you get maybe a certain percentage from the sales that you'll be making. In terms of packaging, again, we must put this brand on social media in terms of maybe a brand ambassadorship role, whereby we have maybe an athlete who's able to represent this product as a brand ambassador, and in return is able maybe to do certain programs that can help promote this brand, because, for example, in social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we have a lot of following. You have a lot of huge following. A lot of guys actually, accessing the avenues, and this is actually a brilliant opportunity for the product to be put out there. And the only way the name can be pushed, is again when we are able to market it in the right way. We are able to push it into the right clients, because again, with products, again, they comes with different qualities and all that. So we must actually know this product's for certain guys, and this product can go to the certain market and all that, so that at the end of the day, the product is still able to sell in different ways, and actually everyone can be able to able to be satisfied from the whole product, because everyone will be able to access it easily, depending on the quality, or maybe depending on the version of the ball that they want. And at the end of the day, again, the product itself is selling. So there are actually very many ways that we can package this product, and to me, I feel it's all about just exhausting each and every way that we can find, so that at the end of the day, the product can sell and the product can hit the market and penetrate it as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I like the way you put it in. Not being trained in marketing, I'm definitely hearing everything. You're saying all the right things. John is dangling something there. John, what are you dangling? Is that a new product? Is that something that you want to talk about?
It is one of our balls in our portfolio. This is actually, I wanted to remind Musa of the days when he used to be the expert of making paper balls, plastic paper balls, bolia jwala. Remember, it had a thing like this, Musa, when you're alone and you're struggling. Now look at this. These things. Somebody has a patent on this here in the US. While we were, how many years ago? Like 40-something years ago, we were making this and playing with them. So most of this Western technology that they patent and claim it's theirs, it's really not theirs. Like the weighted ball. If you know how to make bolia jwala, then you know where the weighted ball technology really comes from. Let me leave it at that, so that whoever knows, whoever doesn't know bolia jwala, no, because bolia jwala is tough and it's safe. We played it every day. It's safe.
Yeah.
So guess where our ingenuity comes from? Back to Mutani.
Yeah. Then that's genius. That's really genius.
Yeah. So now we have this here, which is something Musa already made like 40 years ago. He was playing with this akijago akienda kwa duka.
And that could be, go ahead.
And I think And I think even one of the good things with whatever I'm seeing Baresi even holding, that things helps the players who can't juggle well, because I
Yes.
think it's just for them to, the beginners to
Yeah.
start juggling, because kids will just have to get something which is easy for them. Once you know that the boys can juggle properly, the string is taken away from them. But again, it's a matter of thinking off the box. Those are things which we saw a long time ago. But
Yeah.
it's just a matter how can they put them in a way that it is a model way to see
Yeah.
that there's sometimes wherever you are doing something, you find that those things were done long time ago,
Yeah.
but because we didn't see beyond whatever we were doing, it
Yeah.
seems to be something which is very new. But again, the way Okotha said, Balitoli, we just need to come, and it is our own. Komborrah is our own. It is from our own person. How can we do to support each other in a way that to market it in a very, very good way? Because sometimes we find that even with the Facebook, we use it in the wrong way. And that is a place where we can do something which can even take you to another level, even to players. Those are things which we are having. You find that wherever you're seeing somebody's photos, it's totally different, not even concerning football or even a sport. But
Yeah.
Facebook is there for us to market ourselves. You can see, even for me, that is the only thing which I'm using at Kickoff to Hope. That is where people can see me very well. So that is my passion. I'm going there every day to do positive things. And I think we'll have to push it. Let's support him. I will support him without even getting something. But I know what is behind him, where he has come from, and you know where he's going with Komborrah. I'll be so happy to see that Komborrah is being used in our league in Kenya.
That is awesome. So that's good. Getting to where I'm thinking we've basically exhausted and discussed quite a bit at length. Covered a lot. Learned a lot. Hopefully, for the viewers. And so I'll shoot it back to. We'll see if Benti has any parting.
Let me
But
before you bring it back to 20, I'd
Mhm.
like to officially introduce Aro as a member of Komborrah team. We've always Musa. Everybody knows when they see Musa now, they see Komborrah's face. But Aro is our newest member. So I'd like to take this opportunity to officially introduce him to our team. Welcome, Aro.
Musa, the whole Juala thing. How are kids actually now playing in the neighborhoods?
I think it is a challenge. When we are talking about the Juala thing. Moroj, I can tell you that I was one of the best guy to make those Juala balls. And I used to sell them around the community. Yeah. But now things have changed. Places which we used to walk and collect those Jualas, there's no more place. Kids that just want the Nike balls, the Puma balls. Things are totally different. The way they have grown up, it was our generation. But to this generation which is here, when you tell them about the Joanna things, like, hey, what are you talking about? It's something which is totally new to them. They don't play those street football, the 4v4, the 2v2s. It is very difficult, choosing to wear boots. And, I think for us, things were just totally different in a hard way. But it really built up even our technique.
Of course.
Sometimes for us, even to know the technique, we're just going to the wall. You kick the ball, across the wall, back and forth, back and forth. And then you end up, knowing how to pass the ball or even to dribble or even to head. Nowadays, you don't see all those kind of things because they don't even have the spaces to go and play or to practice.
Wow, that's quite interesting. Yeah, it didn't occur to me that that was going to have a direct effect on football. It's a direct effect on football. So maybe the kids in the nice neighborhoods, but even the kids in the slums, you would imagine that at least maybe that would be the easiest, closest thing they get to use as a ball, the Juala balls.
No, because it was costly. We were not even using a lot of money. It's something which was just coming from the trash, which we find that we were enjoying it. It was even bouncing. In a sense that there's nothing like taking it to the to the fundi to be repaired. You just go ikiisha inachoka nje inachomwa na jua ama inanyeshewa, and life goes on. But things have changed.
We used to have a guy in our neighborhood who would recycle some of them, like take the old ball, put on top the new Juala, and now you have a new ball after after that. It was quite interesting. Yeah. So
Moirosh, I can tell you, I used to go to school, over the weekend, we'll go to Uru Market. I think Binti knows the Uru Market very well. You're having on a Monday, you'll start a business. When you go to the school, you end up selling those balls 1 shilling, and you find that on a Wednesday, you don't have a ball. You'll go back and take it. I say that I'm the one who made the ball. But, it was, we were thinking off the box, but I think for now, it's like kids are, spin food, everything's just there for them. Nowadays they'll have to train the ball, the boat. They can't play barefoot. But it is their generation. Things are changing. Things are changing, and we need to change with whatever is happening. And I think for me, whatever Komborrah has come in is a matter of trying to see how can we produce small balls in Kenya, because we find that young boys are using wrong equipment or tools to go and play, which is very bad because of lack of education too, and it is really affecting our kids and even our playing scenario or environment.
Yeah, sounds like you very much, John, Musa, and Ronald, for your time. I know you would have been doing other things, but decided to actually come and participate in this forum today. John, I think you're up to something very interesting, and your company is really charging the way forward in thinking about how you can utilize what you learn to develop an intervention for something that could be sustainable over time in an environment that may not be as conducive. You are a brilliant thinker, and you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Musa and Ronald, I think, great people, great role models. Everybody looks up to them, and I think I'm glad they are part of the team, and I'm glad that they're joining you to charge forward. Musa doesn't want anything. I want something. I want it to grow, and actually we make money. That's for me. I think money is not bad, because money is what's gonna drive that change. And Musa is a humble guy. I love the guy, but Musa,
no, Moresh, I'll talk there a bit. As an ambassador, for me, I think that is something which I say to Baresi. Sometimes wherever you are an ambassador in something, maybe somebody will give you money for you to go and represent him. And that's why I said that I don't want money from Baresi. I know that on the other side, for him to make money is to sell those balls. But sometimes when you come and do somebody's product, most of the guys will ask for money. And I know that where you have come from with Baresi is a matter of trying to help him as a brother, as somebody has played with, somebody has we played soccer together. And that's why I say that I'm not going to ask him for any money to go and, be an ambassador on his product, to come and help him as a teammate, as a friend, as somebody who has grown together.
Yeah, I really do
I
appreciate
think that's very, very important. Maybe, Baresi, what do you have to say to Mr. Otero? That's very, encouraging.
Yeah, it is very encouraging, and I know, like, the first guy I thought of to represent me in Kenya was Musa, and I knew, like, I can share my vision with him, and I can explain to him honestly where we are at. We are still growing, crawling stages, but I knew he can buy into what we are doing, because he underwent through the same problems I went through. And so he knows what the vision is, where we are headed, and if we can get there, there'll be, how I can sum it is like, right now, Komborrah is like a rising tide. And when it gets to its peak, I think you'll see all those ships get raised. We are all gonna go high with the tide. So Musa, I really appreciate sharing the same vision as me, because that's how business runs. If you don't have enough people sharing the same vision as you, it's just gonna fall apart.
So I wanted to clarify to Musa. I don't want to get paid now. I'm saying when John
is all the way up there,
when the tide is high up there,
you want to
millions and millions of dollars. I really want to invest in that company. I want to invest it in the company, and so that's the thinking of them making the money, not to get paid to do the ambassador job. No. I'm just saying, as an investor, I'd love to actually be able to get into it, because I know when the ship is going high, I'll be part of the ships that go high and not the ships that watch things go high. So in essence, just to say, I think my prayer and my belief is that Komborrah actually grows, and we sit back here 10 years from now and actually say, look at what it is today. And I think these are the major steps. And I think that's when we will see change. That's where we will be able to do more impact into many other things that we would like to do. So really thank you guys. And I'm honored. Usually I'm honored. I'm a zero name, but each Musa and John have really played a significant role. Musa, I know you remember when I wasn't even thinking I would go with the Fafajerico
to Mombasa.
Yeah, even to the Kakamega High game. I was like, I'm a student at Ofafa. I'm like, I don't even play football, but you guys were like, you should come and practice, man. You should come and play. And in that way, you basically helped me out and discovered me to some extent that I can kick something. Aro,
thank you.
I'm watching you, and I'm watching you because you're a rising star. And I think in terms of ex-players, I think you're playing, your star is shining, and you are surrounding yourself with the right people. And so really thank you. John, as always. John gave me my first boot. Like, my first boot came from this short. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I'm totally thankful. Let's wrap up. Thank you, and I've enjoyed it. I've really had a blast. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Just to wind up, we have a Swahili session here in a minute. Will be like 10 minutes only. At the same time, we have a Komborrah lounge this coming weekend, which is on the 21st at Dr. Craft. When you go to a Swahili session, Musa will tell us more about it, the preparation and what's going on. So viewers, don't leave. We're coming back with a Swahili session after this commercial break.
Thank you,
Komborrah, ni boli poa.